All right, guys. Today, we're talking about something a little different. This video is going to be about why modern and steels run at a higher Rockwell are not hard to sharpen. It is just your lack of skill that keeps the job from getting done. Now, before you go clicking off, not talking about anybody in particular. Before the thumbs down crew mobs me, which I don't care. I think it's absolutely hilarious that I get people that thumbs down all the time. Way to go, thumbs down, guys. But I'm going to cover a few things here because I see it posted way too often, especially about Maximit, ZDP, M4, K390. On a daily basis, I'm seeing posts and videos about how hard all these steels are to sharpen. And guys, I'm here to tell you, some people might not want to hear this. If you think all these steels are hard to sharpen, then your skill level is not at a point where you're proficient at sharpening. Don't know how else to put it. Any of these that are on the table take me no longer to sharpen than the other ones. Some are even faster. Why would something be even faster to sharpen? Well, this is 10 thousandths behind the edge. The 4V Shark is also 10 thousandths behind the edge. The Crewware is 7 thousandths behind the edge. These sharpen on a DMT diafold in single-digit passes per side. No, I don't count, but we're talking 2 to 3 passes per side. Bevel smaller, it's going to be faster to sharpen. One I did recently, just to see if I could do it, the Crewware on a Spyderco medium rod. Only used a medium rod. It was 7 total passes to sharpen and deburr this on the stone. 7 passes. Now, I can understand why, if you don't know how to sharpen, you might think steels are hard to sharpen. S110V, Maximit, M4, they may seem hard to sharpen. Maybe you haven't sharpened one and you've just read and seen in videos repeatedly over and over and over how difficult these steels are to sharpen. They aren't. What's the difference going to be? Yes, these that I just showed, stuff like K390, the stone is going to feel much slicker going across the bevel on a harder steel that's well done. That doesn't mean it's not doing anything. Lots of factors go into play. How good's the heat treat? How good did the microstructure come out? All stuff like that. John from BGM, this little mini Bowie, super easy to sharpen. So quick. It almost takes me longer. I started freehanding this, but when I tested it, I did sharpen it in the KME. I believe it took me longer to clamp it and set the angle than it took me to actually sharpen this. Absolutely the opposite of what you would think. Harder steels are easier to sharpen. Thinner steels are going to come up faster. Now, if you think I'm talking about you, guys, feel free to contact me. I'm not hard to get a hold of. I'll help you out any way possible in sharpening. Especially if you have a lot of budget steels. The King K80. It's under $20. The DMT coarse fine diafold like this. This one's at least 1.5 years old. I just sharpened a knife on it yesterday. This is under $20. This you guys will see coming up. Part of the budget sharpening series. I believe this was $24. A 400, 1000 grit stone. Great for you to start on if you aren't proficient at sharpening or you don't sharpen at all. The biggest hurdle you're going to have in sharpening is getting past your fear of messing up the knife. You are not going to mess up the knife. I mean, you can, sure. But that gives you more incentive to not mess up your knife. This, I did freehand on that cheap diamond stone that I picked up just a couple days ago. 3V. To sharpen on the 400, 1000, then strop under 10 minutes. Steve talked about this on Instagram the other day. Clint's been talking about it for a while. Roman's been talking about it for a while. I don't use factory edges. If I'm using a factory edge, that's because I'm just seeing what the difference is when I actually test it. Like we'll take this QSP for example. D2 ended up cutting about 120 feet in a 1-inch section. On the factory edge, it didn't even make it to 30 feet. That is overheated and fatigued steel that you need to get off of there before you can make an assessment of the steel. This Hogue Deca, the one that I tested, you saw the video of already. Even though Hogue hand sharpens on the factory edge, it didn't even hit 100 feet. Big difference from the 260 feet that it ended up doing after I put a few edges on it and then verified it. And don't think that something like this just happens overnight. I didn't become good at sharpening overnight. Prior to testing, I may have sharpened 100 knives in my entire life. I started a sharpening log when I started my channel, and I am about to pass 4,000 sharpenings. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to wonder, how does something like that add up so quick? Take anything. This was new when I got it. The factory edge was still on it. I sharpened it, used it. I did that 4 times. Then I did my 30 days of Maximate, which ended up being 60 days, and I called it because it was still cutting. I then put a 5th edge to test the first time, 6th edge to verify the test, and many edges since then. Use this knife a lot, even though you guys don't see it very often. So just something like this alone, that's up at 10 edges or so already. Kurt Super Freak. I ended up putting 16 total edges on that one knife to test it. Think about everything that I test has at least 5 edges minimum put on it. Then go back and look at the Google spreadsheet. There's 100 and something knives on there, times 5 minimum. That's not counting my own stuff. That's not counting stuff that I sharpen for other people. That's not counting any of the testing you guys have not seen yet. I haven't even tested this yet. I've just been using it as much as possible to see how it is, and I am already on the 5th edge on this, and I haven't even gotten started. That's just my own use, seeing how it'll do. I know that this M4 is well into the double digits of edges put on it. So is this S90V. You guys get the picture. What brought this video about was someone pointed me in the direction of the Smoky Mountain Knife Works video about steels that was up maybe a week ago or so. And the whole video was a mess. How the steels were talked about, how many times it was mentioned in there that these steels are hard to sharpen. Now, do some steels take a little bit more time to get the same level of edge as other ones? Yes. Obviously, thicker stuff, thicker behind the edge steels are going to take longer to, time-wise, to sharpen. They aren't any harder. It's just going to take you a little bit more time. Yes, S110V, for example. It isn't hard to sharpen, but compared to S90V, for example, this is going to take about half as much time as the S110V to sharpen. Something like this takes me 4 to 5 minutes to sharpen. 300 grit, 600 grit, deburr on the stones, strop it, I'm done. You can go back and look at my Maximate video with me talking. I believe that one's maybe 14 minutes. The S110V video for the 30 days of S110V, while I sharpened that. You guys get the point. I'm beating a dead horse here. Now, when would I say, because it's thrown around way too much, when would I say a steel is harder to sharpen? These softer, not well done, M390, 20CV, 204P, they're a big one. We know from cutting, from testing this, I have no idea what the hardness is, but if I had to take a stab at it, it's down around 58 maybe. It cut as much as S35VN. You know, cold steel S35, buck S35, your average S35. 160 feet, 165 feet maybe, I don't remember. What I'm getting at is, with a poor heat treat, is going to come a poor microstructure. All different kind of things can happen. Roman's got great videos on different things that have to do with steel that I'm not going to get into here. He's already explained a lot of it. Soft steel like this, not only is it harder to get a good edge on, some of these can be difficult to deburr. This, I was not able to deburr on the stones. It was a pain to deburr on a strop. I had that happen with a Max Ace M390. That thing, I almost couldn't deburr that thing. And I know that it was soft. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll touch more on this later. But start out by, get a stone. Get any stone. Get 1/600 grit diamond stone. Get a diafold, but get sharpening. Get rid of that junk steel that's burnt and fatigued, that you might have chipping problems with, that you're going to have rolling problems with, that the edge retention is not going to be good on. Done more than enough testing at this point to be able to say that, and you guys can go back and take a look for yourself if it's not something that you believe. But get sharpening. Get your skill level up there. When your skill level gets up there, you are not going to find any of this to be difficult to sharpen. I know it seems challenging. All you got to do is practice. Not only that, I do have some things that I'm going to do videos on that will help those of you who do not know how to freehand, or maybe you're not good at freehand. You don't want to spend the money on a Wicked Edge or a KME or an Edge Pro or something like that. That's fine. I have some really cheap options that can get you into sharpening, that will get you a nice consistent edge on your knife, even if you have no idea what you're doing. If I could teach my nephew, who does not know how to sharpen with the things I'm going to do videos on, you guys can learn it too. Those of you that stuck around the whole time, thanks for sticking around. I know plenty of people who sharpen all the time, do not find things to be difficult to sharpen. That's all I have for this one. I'm going to follow up with some other stuff, like I said. We're at 17 minutes. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.